CPGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. You know it because you're on it. We had Packers at AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys.
Start the game.
I forgot you gotta start the game?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm not playing, bro.
I didn't tell you wasn't.
Nah, I don't. They don't need to tell me nothing. I'm not trying to.
Oh, this guy.
I'm trying to play. Nobody want to see me play. Just turn the channel, man. All right, y'all ready?
3-0 last week.
Mm-hmm.
They both took some L's.
Both of them took L's.
Yeah,
Nobody could walk out being 4-0.
The Packers lost the Thursday night game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Cowboys lost, was it a Sunday night game?
It was a
Sunday night game against the New Orleans Saints.
Good game.
That was the game of the week.
Game of the week.
Yeah, we previewed that game last week. You know, go back to it. Headley gave you the rundown, man. I told you the battle in the trenches was the key to the game. And
Headley did? You referring to yourself in the third person?
Yeah, CPGM Headley, man. Check him out on Twitter at CPGM Headley. Yeah, man. The Saints run defense overpowered the Dallas offensive line and shut down Ezekiel Elliott.
Man, it ain't nothing like a bunch of first-round picks getting bullied and punched in the mouth and they're not being able to respond. What does Mike Tyson say?
In fairness, there's a lot of first-round picks on that Saints D-line.
Okay.
And it's a really good group that doesn't get enough credit. It doesn't get enough credit.
Dallas fan talking, y'all. It's Dallas fan talking.
Cowboys.
Yeah. He wasn't here last week to defend his team or anything. He probably would have poo-pooed on him anyways. But yeah, man. So, what happened to the Packers, man? Where is Aaron Rodgers? What's going on, man? I got him in fantasy. He's not doing Aaron Rodgers things.
No. Well, he balled last week.
I mean, he did ball last week. Yes. How you say it?
Statistically.
Statistically. All right. Thank you for getting me through that. Looked on phonics. I need a little work. Thank you very much. But yeah, going against that Eagles front, and they couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, Jordan Howard, man, they ran through him. Miles Sanders, everyone, man. It was just the Philadelphia Eagles were feeding their running backs time after time, and the Green Bay Packers front couldn't stop it, man. The linebackers were out of place. Kenny Clark was out there, but he can't do everything. That's a baller still, but everybody else need to step up, man. And they play the Cowboys this week, and even though they've been a more passing team of late, man, new coordinator, Dak Prescott, but this is a game that they're going to feed Zeke, man. I think Zeke will have 20-plus carries in this game, and Green Bay going to have to hold up.
Yeah, I think certainly with the injury to Tyron Smith, and Dallas is hoping that it's not a long-term situation, maybe a week or two, and he'll be able to suit up again. Not sure what the extent of the injury is, but that's a huge thing. The left tackle, stalwart on your offensive line. That suggests to me that the emphasis is going to be placed on getting the ball out of Prescott's hands quickly, all right? And, of course, establishing the run game. You know what I mean? Taking some pressure off of that offensive line. Dallas is also at home. They're not going to have to face that noise of the Superdome. And frankly, as improved as this Green Bay defense has been, particularly in terms of getting after the passer with the Smiths, to your point, you alluded to it already. You mentioned it already. They're having an issue stopping the run. So I expect Dallas to feed Ezekiel Elliott quite a bit this upcoming week.
Yeah, no. There go the guy. I'm just gonna bring him up. Michael Gallup. It's an eyesore that they didn't have him last week. You got who's out there? Devin Smith.
Yeah.
Randall Cobb. We know Amari was trying to do his thing, but he was getting. What you call it? By your boy. That's your favorite cornerback one.
Marshawn Lattimore, man. The clamps. It was clamps.
He showed back up. We was talking greasy about him last week, but he showed back up. Clamped down on Cooper. And Dallas just doesn't have that other guy that can
stretch the field.
Yeah. Be open for Dak.
Be one-on-one coverage.
Yeah. I think you just mentioned it, Headley, consistently beating man-to-man coverage, because we know Devin Smith is fast, but Amari Cooper is consistently beating, since he's joined the Cowboys, he's been consistently beating man coverage. The New Orleans Saints defense deserves a lot of credit. They really stepped up to the plate. You mentioned Marshawn Lattimore. We big fans of his talent, but he struggled through the early part of the season. Really showed up, the entire secondary for that matter. Eli Apple did a good job. Marcus Williams on the back end. Von Bell. Everybody out at every level of the defense, in New Orleans, they played at a really high level. And I think even with the Tyron Smith injury, Green Bay is going to have to play one of their better games defensively in terms of defending the pass and the run in order to get this win on the road.
That the pass, I think they have that covered. It's against the run, man. And Dallas faced that secondary last week, led by Marshawn Lattimore. This week, they got a dog out there in Jair Alexander also. So those other receivers, Devin Smith, Randall Cobb, Jason Witten, they're going to have to beat man-to-man coverage because Jair Alexander, he's probably going to put the clamps on Amari again.
Let me ask you, who has the better secondary? Packers or the Saints?
I'm going to go with the Saints.
Oof. And we already know they got the better defensive line, so it's going to be that's probably going to be the story.
Actually, let me think. I'm going to go to Packers. I'm going to go to Packers. I'm a renege on what I just said.
Okay, I'm going to take your books. Thank you very much. When you get them books, was it 9 books or 7 books? How many I get?
Well, I caught my renege.
Oh, you caught it.
So if I catch it, then you get no books.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, lay it down. Which I'll check. Well, y'all just down in the comment section, let us know, because I'm not sure that's correct.
We didn't close the book yet.
No, we didn't?
No, we didn't close the book.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm going to go to Packers, man. I think the Packers is just because of consistency. They've been a lot better consistently than the Saints secondary. But against the run now, the Saints run defense is a lot better than the Green Bay Packers run defense.
That jumped out at me, and I think we're talking about obviously the players on the field, but I think there's some credit that needs to be paid to Dennis Allen and his group, obviously defensively. But Kellen Moore, he really his inexperience kind of reared its ugly head. He wasn't able to make the necessary adjustments, and again, playing at the Superdome is really difficult. You're playing a quality defense, number one. The noise is off the charts. You know what I mean? And playing the Saints in the Superdome, prime time, it's always you gotta favor the Saints. You have to favor the Saints. It doesn't really matter who they're playing. You have to favor the Saints. But the one thing that I've seen, good throw right there. There's that Gallup guy. The one thing that I've seen, or one method teams have had success against the Saints in football has been on the outside, whether it be a toss, whether it be the outside zone. So you would have liked to see more kind of make an adjustment in game. You're just trying to run into the teeth of the defense, and Sheldon Rankins was Demario Davis at the second level. They were just shutting everything down. Mm-hmm. So you got to get to the edge. You know what I mean? Maybe a little, you put in a dash of Tony Pollard in there to change it up a little bit. It just never happened. He didn't get into a rhythm. He didn't make adjustments, and the Saints took advantage of that.
And I know we were talking off air. We had talked about how Dallas, there was no play action. Like that's part of their game is to run play action. There really was none of that. And I know part of that was because they felt like, hey, we're not really running the football, but they run the ball 18 times, something like that. So they felt like, hey, listen, everybody knows that Dallas wants to run the football, right? So whether you're doing well at it or not, you still gotta be able to offer that play action so you can open things up in terms of the passing game. And they were just like, hey, we again with Kellen Moore and his what'd you call it, the inexperience.
Yeah.
Again, that's another thing where he it kind of reared his ugly head. But let's move over to I want to talk about the Dallas defense and number 54.
Jalen?
Along with number what's Van Esch's number?
Man.
55. And what's Sean Lee saying?
I saw Sean Lee for the first time this year, man.
Oh, did you?
Made some plays.
Oh, he wasn't chilling on the bench.
But yeah, that's a good topic right there, because I was talking to one of my homies, Mike, earlier today, man. He's a Cowboys fan, and I was trying to see about 55 and 54, Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith, because to me, Van Der Esch is far and more superior than Jalen Smith, and I was just trying to ask if he knows it, and he does. He agrees with me also that Van Der Esch is the guy over there. He to me, it's DeMarcus Lawrence. Did I say that right? DeMarcus Lawrence and Van Der Esch. Those are your two best defensive players on the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. You can throw your boy, the guy in the corner, what's his name?
Byron Jones. And Robert Quinn's been playing really well, too.
Yeah, got that other side going there. But, they're using Jalen Smith in a way where they're bringing him downhills, more blitzes. He's kind of getting, you're kind of playing more towards his type of game versus kind of playing out in space, and you got them going downhill, and that's kind of what you want. So I kind of like that from from that standpoint. But let's move over to. Yeah, I just.
You got some tea?
Nah, man. I talk all day, so I get on here. I'm doing more talking. It gets caught. It's good. It's good. Good.
Cool.
You got some tea? Is it Earl Grey tea?
Lemon ginger?
Nah, bro. Earl Grey, bro.
Earl Grey?
Yeah.
I mean, you can bring your own tea then, bro.
You feel me? Okay. So let's talk about what the Packers gonna be missing, or I don't know if he's gonna be missing. It's the best route runner in the game. It's the guy Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
You got a guy named Keenan out there too. Mr. Allen.
I mean,
16?
no, Madden already told you what's up. Okay, check the numbers. I didn't say it. Madden did. But we're gonna go over to Devontae Adams. Is he gonna play, man? Is he? And if he doesn't play, this might be a long day for Green Bay.
Yeah, especially if they can't get the ground game going. Matt LaFleur, the new head coach in Green Bay, he has that outside zone running scheme, and it's kind of like the Rams offense. That has to get going for the offense to succeed. You see it in Cincinnati also with Zach Taylor. It's like if you can't get that outside zone running game going, the passing game suffers because of that. And if you don't have Devontae Adams on top of not being able to run, it's going to be a long day for Aaron Rodgers, man. There's a lot of DeMarcus Lawrence and Robert Quinn on top of Aaron Rodgers.
So the last time I recall, and obviously things I can miss stuff, we're all fallible, but the last time I recall Dallas facing that outside zone scheme was in the playoffs last year. Rams. And they had 200-yard rushers in that particular game.
Yep.
Do I anticipate the Packers having that type of day? No. But what I do think is that if the Packers take a look at that film, there are some things that are built into that offense, the Sean McVay offense, that can create a little consternation with number 54. Because as you said, Drew, Jalen Smith is most effective when he's coming downhill, when he's shooting a gap and he's coming downhill, or he can run from one sideline to the next. When he has to diagnose and wait and ensure that he doesn't take a misstep, and if he can just fire his gun and go, that's when he's very effective. Again, if there's any additional diagnosing or trying to kind of get through the trash, whatever, he struggles.
Yeah.
He struggles. That's when you see him making tackles, 8-10 yards down the field under those circumstances. So if Aaron Jones can get to the edge, and that's not an easy thing to do particularly against DeMarcus Lawrence. I imagine they're going to run at Robert Quinn quite a bit.
Yeah.
If he can get to the edge, they can create some challenges for Dallas. We'll see if Dallas has made that adjustment since that divisional game last year in the playoffs.
And if Aaron Jones gets to the edge and they're effective in the run game, that's going to open up that play action game. And even if Devontae Adams is not 100%, he should have receivers running free out there in the Dallas secondary.
We're gonna see. Let me ask y'all, man. What do you know the spread in this game?
Check it out.
Check it for me, man. I like to talk a little. I haven't gambled before.
What?
I'm not
Reform?
By the time the games start,
Sure.
I'm like, it's too
You
late.
haven't been able to put in the work to get your parlay set up.
Can't just be throwing out money.
You know what I mean?
That's
We got Dallas favored by 3.5.
And they're at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right. You get the -3 at home.
Yeah. Okay.
Extra 0.5, man.
Okay.
After seeing Jordan Howard run through that defense last week.
So let me ask y'all, each of y'all, for the Packers to win the game, who's got to be the guy?
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And then of course 12's got to make the deep. You know what I'm saying? Make the big play.
But
You know what I'm saying? Because Dallas's defense is designed to keep everything in front of you. Challenge everything, but also keep everything in front of you. There's very few times you'll see a zero coverage. It's aggressive. It's aggressive, but it's a cover 3. You know what I mean? But again, it's usually a single high look. It's rarely zero coverage. So the Packers, LaFleur, is going to have to scheme some stuff up. And to your point, we've already mentioned it, we'll reiterate it again. If they can get the outside zone working, it's play action off of that. It's the double moves off of that. You know what I mean? It's able to let a slower developing play actually develop, get it protected, develop, and then take that shot deep to, a Marquez Valdez Scantling or whatever the case may be. Because I think for this Green Bay team to beat this Dallas team in Dallas, you're going to have to get a few chunk plays. You're going to have to get a few of those. Otherwise, it's going to be tough sledding trying to matriculate the ball down time and again against a very good defense.
All right, so let me flip it. Who for Dallas has to ball or be the guy for them to win the game?
I'm gonna go off the board right here, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the left tackle. What's the guy name?
I think it's Cameron Fleming.
Cameron
I think so.
Fleming. Because we seen when Tyron Smith was out the game. Remember that game against the Falcons when Adrian Claiborne had 6 sacks? You remember that? I don't think he had 6 sacks total since then.
Yeah. So you're right.
That left tackle, and because you're gonna play going against Smith, Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, they could ruin the whole game for Dallas, man. So I think that left tackle for Dallas is the most important player on the field.
It's hard to disagree with that. I'll go off the board too, though. I think it gets back to Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore struggled last week as a play caller. I know, of course, players have to go out and execute. There were some drops. I thought Dak played pretty well, all things considered. You know what I mean? It's down one of his top receiving targets. Nothing in the form of a running game to kind of support in that type of environment. It's just that's a lot. That's a lot. You don't have the most dynamic of the weapons. And again, from my perspective, he didn't get any help from his offensive coordinator. So this week, can Kellen Moore recognize, obviously, that the Packers are struggling to stop the run, number one. All right? Get the ball out of Dak's hands quickly because you're missing your left tackle. And then, of course, help that left tackle. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be lining up a tight end over, on that side of the formation, on the left side of the formation, chipping, whatever the case may be. Slow down the pass rush. I haven't really seen much of the screen game this year out of Dallas. Everything has been lovely before week 4. Everything was fine. Everything was going really well downfield. But, you know what I mean? When you're not necessarily getting those chunk plays, you have to kind of manufacture some of those things. So, that's what I'm going to be looking for in terms of Kellen Moore adjusting and doing some self-correction from week 4 to week 5.
I know I was talking a little bit greasy about Dallas last week. Me a little bit more. I think so. We was talking about, they played a bunch of ducks.
They did.
They played some mallards.
They did.
And then they had a bye week. So they played a duck.
No, they didn't have a bye week. They didn't have a bye week. They played.
No. They had a bye week. They had a bye week.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
They played a duck. They played a mallard, and then they turned around and had a bye week.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then they get lucky, and they play a Saints team that is breezeless.
Yeah.
Or breezeless. Yeah, breezeless.
That's what it was.
And so now they walk into the Packers, where it's the team is a little bit more at full strength, if you will. I mean, here we go again. I mean, let's just hope for the sake of football and Packers fan that Davante Adams is going to play and that he's healthy enough to play versus him not playing at all or being a decoy of some sort or end up re-injuring the toe or whatever. Dallas I'm throwing a little hate out there, but they just keep walking into these instances where they're playing teams that are either not good or just not at full strength. So that's part of the you play who's in front of you obviously, but man, I'm not 100% sure who this team is, and I want them to run into a team they get. I mean, obviously they got punched in the mouth last week, but they were missing the big time wide receiver Michael Gallup. But I just want to see him play a team that's at full strength. I want to see what Dallas is really about.
No, I agree, man. Also, really, I want to see Dallas against a good offense. I don't think they've played a good offense yet this season. Daniel Jones wasn't playing in New York when they lost. They played the Miami Dolphins. You played Case Keenum and the Redskins.
Adams won't be able to run the full route tree.
So who can't run the full route tree?
Adams won't be able to run the full. Yeah,
definitely, man.
Talking about a toe, you're probably right.
You need your toe.
You need your toe. You need your big. Well, which toe is it? Do we know which toe it is? Because if it's the big one, that's a problem. If it's the pinky, that's also a problem. If it's one of the middle ones, he should be okay, but I'm not a doctor. So
I was about to ask you, are you a doctor? You sound informed right now.
I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, just feeling it out with my toes. Playing with them right now.
Anybody can look up WebMD, bro.
This ain't WebMD, bro. This is my D, bro. This is, you feel me? This is my pause. My MD. I'm handling business. But Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. Like I said, I'm just waiting for them to play a really good offense. And then this week, when Devontae Adams might not be able to run the full route tree, with Matt LaFleur still trying to get the hang of things as a play caller in Green Bay, I don't think we'll still see it this week.
Yeah.
But I want to see an offense that can challenge this Cowboys defense. I think it's a really good Cowboys defense. It's just I want to see
Love the
who they will
content
challenge.
Say that again. What? Repeat that.
He's so aggressive, man.
I like to interact. You know how I like to do.
No chance. Adams won't be able to run the full route tree. Love the content, fellas. Appreciate that.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I don't even know what that means. But anyways, so what scores, fellas? What you saying? Let's go to the Dallas fan right over here.
First of all,
Cowboys.
4 million first off. I'm not a Dallas fan.
Can you explain why?
Yeah.
I'm still trying
People want to know, bro.
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah.
You want to know? All right.
Let everybody know.
So, I've already explained this to you before.
It's with content, man.
All right. So, I've been a Dallas fan. I was indoctrinated. I'll tell you a little bit about my life story. I was indoctrinated, both sides of my family, right? All right. So, you know, I had the nice early 90s. That was a beautiful thing, whatever the case
You got
may be.
spoiled.
I got spoiled.
Everything in them
early
boys.
90s, Jimmy Johnson, the triplets.
Yep.
You know, I was spoiled. But you know, I rolled through. My childhood hero was Emmitt Smith. They let him go. Bill Parcells brought in Troy Hambrick. I will never forgive him for that. In fact, I'll slap Bill Parcells if I ever saw him in the streets. But Dallas
Jackson.
passed on Randy Moss.
Steven Jackson.
They passed on Steven Jackson.
Bird.
Okay. And I'm still trucking. I'm still going with them. And of course, they've made some additional mistakes. And of course, then Will McKay comes in and they start to really turn things around. And then, you know, without getting too political, there was some posturing from the Joneses a few years back.
So it's nothing to do with football.
No, it had very little to do with football, as a matter
okay.
of fact.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I'm still a Falcons fan, man. I stick with my team, man. You know, I keep it between the lines, man.
Sure.
But you know, I respect it though, man. What was the question though?
First of all, don't let Juice fool you. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all, bro. I told y'all last week, man. He's a closet Dallas fan. Don't let him fool you. He's all
We
about
did turn on the
Dallas.
Madden and seen that he was running the game with the Cowboys.
running the game with the Cowboys versus the Saints. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean, bro? You're not a Cowboys. He's a fucking Cowboys fan. Don't let him fool you, bro.
Hey, let me just let y'all people out there know on YouTube land. Don't believe everything you hear or read on the internet. You understand me? You understand me? Don't believe everything you hear or read, especially for these two when it comes to my fandom.
Hey, man.
Dallas fan.
Content, man.
Yeah, Dallas fan at heart, bro. He's watching from the closet with it peaked, with the door just half cracked, watching it. Don't let him fool you. But the score, man. What you think of the score is gonna be?
The spread is 3.5. I'm gonna say Green Bay covers that.
They'll cover. Don't take the easy option. They're just gonna cover. That's it.
No, I got Dallas winning 20-17.
Oh, you got a low score up there.
Yeah.
You got a low score up there.
I think
Then Adams
Trenches.
injuries is too much, and then of course their inability to stop the run.
the Tyron Smith injury is big, and then also just the trenches alone, man. I think it's gonna be this game's gonna be decided in which team runs the ball better. I'll say that much, and I think Dallas wins that, and they win 20-17.
You can never just count out 12. I know this offense hasn't looked crisp. You know, they're trying to break Matt LaFleur in. I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why he got the job, but I don't think he deserved it. Same thing could be said for Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. These guys were, you know, part of the McVay coaching tree, and they got pushed to the head of the line. You know what I mean? And you've seen it. And of course, anytime you're implementing a new offense, it takes time for players, the personnel to adjust. But I think there's been some I'm not sure where Aaron Rodgers is going with that particular throw. Pass interference, yeah. That makes more sense. I think 12 might have a little magic in them. I don't know that it'll be enough in this particular contest. I agree with you, Heather. I think Green Bay covers. But Dallas, you know, reestablishes the run game, controls the line of scrimmage for the most part, and they pull off a close one. I'm thinking around 24-27.
24-27?
3-point game.
I'm going to go 28-24, and I'm going to take Dallas. I was going to hate, but I'm not going to hate. I'm going to jump on board with the Cowboys, and I'm going to go 28-24 to get the W, and Green Bay doesn't cover. So don't put your money down. Don't listen to these two guys, man. I'll do that to yourself.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the divisions that these teams are in, man, and what's going on in their respective divisions. Philadelphia finally, was that their first win? No, that's the second win. They won week one. Yeah, they played the Redskins in week one. They had to come back from behind and win that game too. So
they started slow.
You know, I think with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that's the main competition for the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. They gotta run the football. They gotta stick with that, man. They see what Jordan Howard could do. Mm-hmm. Miles Sanders, the rookie, the best players on their football team is on their offensive line. Yeah. You know, some people might think it's Carson Wentz, you know, but it's on their offensive line. Lane Johnson, Peters, Kelsey, and those guys, man. Brandon Brooks. It's just they need the offensive line to control the football game and keep running the football. That's how they get back in this division, and that's how they win this division if they stick with it.
Yeah, it allows you to get healthy, too, on the back end. They have a ton of injuries in their secondary. The secondary has been an issue for a couple of years now. That offensive line is healthy. That this team is different when that offensive line is healthy, or, you know, Lane Johnson isn't suspended or whatever the case may be. That's a dominant group. It's among the best, if not the best, in the NFL. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. You know, I think you have to think about it from this perspective. Doug Peterson is a quarterback by trade. He comes from the Andy Reid tree. And one of the very few knocks we have on Andy Reid is Reid at times gets pass happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want big chunks, and they want to score quickly. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you got to protect your defense a little bit. Sometimes you got to let that offensive line control the game. I thought what they did in Green Bay on the road is exactly how you go about, you know, covering up some of the deficiencies you might have on either side of the ball. You know what I mean? You got receivers out there in Philadelphia dropping a lot of passes. You know, the ball's hitting them right in the hands. Or Carson Wentz, that Sunday night game against Atlanta. You know, he kept Atlanta in that game by himself. You know what I mean? So run the ball. You have capable backs between Howard, Miles Sanders, and even Sproles. You know, this could be one of the better rushing teams in the NFL if they would ever commit to it. So I'm in agreement.
So let me ask you something about the Eagles, man. Mm-hmm. I know the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were offered 2 first-round picks. Allegedly, they declined it. Do you do everything to try to get Jalen Ramsey in Philadelphia? Talking about that secondary, how terrible it is. Like, even if it's trading maybe a Zach Ertz, do you do that?
I mean, if you're just talking Jalen Ramsey, I mean, are they a cornerback away? Is that what we're saying?
That's the biggest weakness.
I think you can make an argument that they're a cornerback away. You know, they're probably 2 cornerbacks away, but I mean, that's a big step in the right direction. It's a huge step in the right direction. Now, you're asking about the compensation that you would give up. Yeah. You got a lot of guys in Philadelphia that are locked up. The only real turnover that I'm anticipating is really maybe at left tackle, but you got Andre Dillard in your back pocket. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then, of course, in the secondary, on the defensive side of the ball, that's where you may have some change, but everything else is really locked in. So why not go get Jalen Ramsey, particularly if you can massage that cap and sign him long term? I mean, because I don't believe it makes sense, even though, you know, for some franchises it might be, and maybe before Philadelphia had won their championship, maybe they would be in that place like, listen, we're just going to push all our chips in the middle of the table and go with Jalen Ramsey as a rental. This team now, obviously, having had its success over the last few seasons, including a championship, you know, you don't make that move. You don't give up that type of capital without locking him up. So if you can, if the numbers work, I say pull the trigger.
I say go in a different direction, bro. I say why not go get you a Patrick Peterson? It's
might be cheaper.
It's definitely gonna be cheaper. Definitely gonna be cheaper. Yeah.
But I guess my question there is, if Patrick Peterson was available, wouldn't he be gone already? Would he not be gone already?
don't know.
I mean,
no, he's on suspension, but we saw what we had last year, right? We saw what happened last year. They decided not to move him. Okay, all right. I imagine the Cardinals had some
Sean Khan, don't
inkling
think he moving
that
this Eagles picks won't be in top 1-0.
You can read it, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I imagine that the Cardinals had some inkling that Peterson might get popped. I imagine that much. All right. Is he going to be available?
well, here's the thing. This is what changes that. What are the Cardinals? 3-1.
3-1.
yes.
Garbage, trash.
Right.
So I would imagine in their mind, previously they thought, okay, maybe we can come out 2-2. Maybe we can be, even if we're 1-4, we can make a run. Like, y'all ain't good. You're not good. Now you kind of realize that
my guy, they haven't been good for a while.
No. I understand that. But when everybody is 0-0,
Everybody thinks they got.
everybody thinks they got a shot. Well, now we know we ain't it. We ain't. So let's start throwing out some pieces because we seen what
They need to get both of them.
I mean,
You know about both of them?
but who?
Both of them.
Get both of them.
Get both of them. Bro.
Get both of them.
We'll get both of them.
I mean, is Peters going for a second and we go ahead and force out? I mean, please, they can't somebody needs to veto that. No. Don't do that. No. Save my team a corner or two, please. Don't do that. But if we talking about the Eagles, I mean, both of them.
To the Packers division, man. It's a really good division.
So we just gonna dismiss the Giants and the
Well, we couldn't dismiss the Redskins.
Okay, and we can definitely dismiss those guys.
And the Giants defense, I know Danny Dimes is out there, revitalizing the Giants offense.
I mean, he was doing that
You
too.
like that?
He was doing that too.
But that defense, man, is terrible, man. I want to get to the North, man,
Okay.
because it's a very competitive division.
I agree.
You seen the Lions last week against the Chiefs, man.
Oh.
They played well. You know, there's no such thing as moral losses. That was a good loss, man. They showed that defense is for real. Matthew Stafford
It wasn't a good loss.
You get what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but let me just clarify.
It wasn't a good loss.
Detroit should have won that game
They should've
by about 10, maybe 14 points.
Yeah.
They shot themselves in the foot several times.
No, that's
made
a
some
fact.
terrible decisions. And, of course, there was some really suspect calls in that game.
Refs.
And it wasn't home cooking. I'm going to leave it at that, but it wasn't home cooking.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't a good loss, but you could be encouraged by what you see. You haven't seen Detroit play this well in a long time.
That is absolutely true.
And then you have the Chicago Bears defense, but they got Mitchell Trubisky.
No, they don't.
Got Chase?
Chase Daniels
Chase
now.
Daniels.
They're better with Chase Daniels?
Dominant for Detroit.
Hold on, I got you.
Yeah, read the last two comments. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings defense and Dalvin Cook, but then you have Kirk Cousins.
It's a mess.
My ball, Zach Ertz said, Sean Khan, don't think he's moving because Eagles picks won't be in top 10. And you mentioned with Darius Slay for Detroit, he was out.
Yeah, it was out.
With Darius Slay out, man. That boy Justin Coleman, Tavon.
The boys, that's secondary was
I think
balling.
Quadre Days got hurt in that game too.
Yeah.
That secondary
The
was
Lions have
balling,
the most underrated secondary in the league.
What's Wilson's first name? Tavon Wilson?
Tavon Wilson.
Yeah, underrated.
It was balling.
Underrated, man. But so you got the Detroit Lions, they're humming. You got the Bears, that defense isn't going anywhere.
Stay
And then
off
you got the
my board,
Vikings with
Jack
Dalvin
Orline.
Cook and that defense too, man. So who comes out in the NFC North, man? Who you got right now? Who's your money on?
I'm gonna jump all the way on the Lions bandwagon. I'm gonna ride them to the playoffs, bro.
The Lions.
They showed me something, man, because you know I was listening to a podcast on YouTube before the game started, and the boys was talking it up, and my man Luke G, I was listening.
Luke G?
I was listening to him.
Luke G.
And from what I heard, I could be wrong now, but from what I heard, he was the only, because there was a bunch of Lions, you know, fans on there. He was the only one that picked them to win. Everybody else was like, nah, they're not gonna win. They're gonna lose.
I had a good feeling about. Of course, I picked the Lions to cover in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really good feeling about the Lions in that game because, and I'm gonna give Matt Patricia a little credit. He laid down. He didn't spy Mahomes on that 4th and 8.
He did.
But I figured he sat at the table with Belichick enough to understand what you got to do. Now, whether or not you have the personnel to pull it off,
That's another story.
in terms of playing that man coverage and really challenging, the Chiefs receivers and Mahomes, it's you got to have the balls to do that now, and you got to have the personnel. But I have been waiting, and I asked you guys, going into the week. Is anybody going to actually employ the plan and actually try to stop them? Because when you're sitting in that zone, Andy Reid's
gonna pick you apart.
You know what I mean? And it typically doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Now, with Mahomes, they're really pushing the ball down the field more so than they ever have before. Yeah. But he's gonna pick that apart easily. But we finally saw someone who played two-man or single high safety and truly got physical with KC's receivers, disrupted the timing, made those throwing windows smaller. So I was encouraged by it. I agree with you. I'm not ready to crown him just yet, though. I'm not ready to crown him just yet.
So he got injured.
I think the Bears defense is going to continue to be dominant. That when they're out there in that weather with that particular defense, it's going to be really tough. I'm not a believer in Mitchell Trubisky, but this team won a division last year with him and that defense. So until I see otherwise, and I'm not counting out 12. I'm not counting them out. I think there's a legitimate possibility that 3 teams come out of the North.
Yes, especially, definitely. For the South with all the injuries and them struggling. And
there's only one team coming out of the
West is good too, though.
The West is good. The West is good too.
So we'll see, man. I'm gonna go different. You went Detroit. You went Green Bay, Chicago. I'm gonna go Minnesota. I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
You believe in Kirk?
I don't believe in Kirk Cousins.
Check the box. See how I got them boys drafting the Vikings.
I do believe in Mike Zimmer, and I do believe in Dalvin Cook. I think last week, a little hiccup, man. The Vikings weren't able to run the ball effectively like they have the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I think they get the run game back going, and I think Cousins gonna look himself in the mirror. He's already made up with Thielen. I heard they made up, and I think they're gonna get back on track, man. The Vikings.
Let me give you a little update. Roddy says stay off my boy Jack for life. He's referring to Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey?
You don't want to see it, but
Jalen don't want to be there, right?
He don't want to be there, Mike.
He don't want to be there.
And then he said, man, ain't no 3 teams coming out the South. Well, we never said that.
Oh, definitely.
And
one team coming out the South.
He may have meant the North. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't think 3 teams are coming out the North.
It's going to be tough. It'll be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
6 seconds.
Oh, it's tied up. It's going OT, baby.
Is it?
Yeah, more content.
Or is it just a tie?
Tie. They got to go to overtime at least.
What we got coming out this week, man? We got coming out this week.
Man, we got 5. Yeah, five recurring posts, man. We got the waiver wire at It's Harris Time that comes out. Should be out shortly. We got punt, pass, and play. Jared, where we look at 3 players and he tells you who to punt, pass, or play. We got the start sit, of course. And we have DFS by the numbers.
Yes, we do.
That's a very detailed post. A lot of numbers in there to help you with your daily fantasy needs.
Where can you find these phenomenal posts?
CouchPotatoGM.com. And then we got a target touches post on CouchPotatoGM.com. Fantasy content all week for you guys, man. Check it out.
Analytical heads out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
OT. Get 54 out there.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the captain.
Yeah.
The C on his chest.
That don't make you good, bro. You ever heard of Montez Perfect, bro?
Montez is a good player.
Nah, he's
a good player, man.
Yeah.
He does the extracurricular.
He's okay.
He's good, bro.
He's been a really good player before. But he's just okay.
He's playing good this year, I thought. He can't cover.
No,
you can't cover.
No, in this league, bro, you got to be able to cover, bro.
That's a lot. He's a two down player, bro. That's what we're saying. But he's out there all 3 downs. But let me ask you a question, bro. We talked about your team.
I know where you're going.
They're playing right now on the screen, bro. They got the
SHRD do this every Friday or Saturday night, fellas. ... Put the wife and kids to bed and talk balls.
What you say?
He said, my ball Zach Ertz. Which is a great name, by the way. Y'all should do this every Friday or Saturday night, fellas. Put the wife and kids to bed and top ball, man.
Listen.
You gotta listen to the boss, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Happy wife, happy life.
Period.
You know what I mean? As much as we'd like to,
Yeah.
you know, what the boss says, you know what I'm saying, more often than not, you just got to roll with that because, you know,
I know
it makes life easier.
Go to it, man.
Yeah,
Go to
I'm going to go to it, man. The Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, the Turtle, Ito Smith, you heard,
He
right?
look like a turtle, too, bro. Is he not healthy, bro? Freeman?
Freeman's not the same, man. We're never going to see peak Freeman again. I think the Falcons drafted a running back. Huh?
Call that in the offseason.
Yeah, I think the Falcons they going running back in the draft. You know, they need a corner. Isaiah Oliver. I tried to tell you guys about that guy.
Tried to tell you guys, but they was infatuated with the size and the length and all that, and he ain't it.
And then Vic Beasley's last year.
Wait. Who'd you try to tell? You didn't try to tell us.
No. Talk about
okay.
the
The
masses, bro.
masses.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
masses, bro. Come on, man.
I thought that was your guy. I was like, Oliver, that wasn't your
my
guy?
guy?
No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
I know that wasn't your guy. I know you hated him.
Nah, that's
You
like
actually
saying,
hated him, bro.
54 is your guy. Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's about right, bro.
And you know Drew loves all his Bucks.
Yes, he
Until
does.
they leave the Bucks.
then they trash.
That's not true.
Then they're
Yeah,
trash.
That's not true.
But yeah, I would say, you know, I said the Bucks was gonna be the worst team in the division.
Yeah, take that back.
And I'm taking it back.
All the way
The
back.
Falcons are the worst team in that division.
Yeah.
There's no dog in those guys, man. It's just they're finesse. They can't run the football. Offensive line's an issue. Defense can't stop anyone. It's all bad, man. I don't expect them to win this week in Houston. How about your team? Who they play? Who did the Bucks play?
The Bucks. It could have been game of the week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I voted against that.
Yeah,
We ain't having the Bucks as game of the week.
Rod said, you vetoing that?
Huh?
Vetoing that, bro?
Which one?
The Bucks is game of the week, though.
Yeah, he had it.
Veto
Every nigga in that one. Definitely, the Saints are the best team in that division. Y'all play the Saints this week?
Yeah, we play the Saints this week. We're going to punch him in the mouth.
Where is it at home?
With all the
Nah, it's away.
temptation, make the
New
choice.
Orleans.
Yeah, y'all losing that one.
No, we go. We play well in New Orleans for whatever reason. We're one of the few teams that play well. Teddy Bridgewater, the check down king. And that's gonna play right into the Bucks' hands. You got to beat the Bucks first. You got to go downfield.
But y'all ain't gonna be able to run the ball, and it's gonna be all on Jameis.
No. We weren't supposed to run the ball last week either. We ran
The Rams is kind of sweet, bro.
Sweet.
You know, Aaron Donald's a beast,
Listen, whoever the Bucks have played this year, they've been able to run the football. That's probably going to continue. It's going to be a harder game, but to me, hey, man, we're gonna see what Jameis gonna do. You know,
We'll see.
We're gonna see, man. He's gonna work it out, man.
So, Heather, you plug the website. Got great content on the website. That's couchpotatogm.com.
Yep.
Drew, you dropped a mock draft.
Yeah, there was haters in the comment section. A couple of haters, people asking questions.
But you need haters, though.
No, I need haters. I love them. I was cool with the hate. I was cool with the questions. I want you to hit me down in the comment section. I have the Falcons drafting a running back. Check that out. I have Dallas.
We're drafting Etienne? Is it Etienne?
Yeah, Etienne.
It's Etienne.
Travis.
That's who we drafted?
Yeah, that's who you drafted.
I'll take him, man. I don't want to run it back in the first round, but
What you want in the first round?
You want a
pass
corner.
rusher corner.
Pass rusher corner.
Could have went there.
Money positions.
Could have went there.
Like what you had the Bucks do?
We had offensive tackle, the DeMar Dotson.
I thought that was your guy, man.
No, DeMar
Donovan
Dotson's
Smith.
old, bro. No, he ain't replacing Donovan Smith.
Oh, yeah.
DeMar Dotson.
Oh,
You need
DeMar
to get
Dotson.
Donovan's just not going to work. He tightened up in that. We good, baby. The offensive line gonna be tight, man. Gonna be tight, man. But
All I disagreed with was Swift. ESHLDB1.
you know, like Swift.
No, you said Swift should be one.
Oh, Swift should be one. Tell me why Swift should be one.
Now Swift a beast.
All right, bro. You say so.
No, Swift is nice, bro.
Okay.
Swift. I think Swift's game isn't going to even be better at the NFL level. I think.
Is he a one cut? Is he a one cut?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He catches out the backfield.
But he catches really well out of the
Does
back.
catch.
Really well out of the back.
So it'll age well. He'll age well.
I got more tape to watch, but I really like what Jonathan
Why
Taylor
all
of
ninjas
Wisconsin. I
need to
like
go
what he
to
looks
bed.
like. Hey, you can talk about the video you broke down on YouTube.
Jonathan Taylor. I think people again. You think Wisconsin. You think
hard nose. Down
real
Power.
rugged, whatever. And that isn't to say Jonathan Taylor doesn't have that in his game, but there's some nuance. You know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit? Nick Chubb. It kind of reminds me of Nick Chubb, Lamborghini Chubb. There's some subtleness and some nuance to his running style that
the
really goes
2018
underappreciated.
championship game.
What is that? Championship?
He said National Hands check out the 2018 SEC championship game. Now he's nice. He's absolutely nice in the passing game.
Can't deny that.
And what I like most about DeAndre Swift is his ability to make guys miss.
Yeah,
That to me is the difference in terms of the ability to make plays out of the backfield in the passing game, ability to run inside and outside the tackles, and then of course make guys miss, force missed tackles. I think that's underrated. There's some backs in this league that get a lot of credit but don't make nobody miss. One of them plays in Dallas.
Wow. Shots fired.
He's a horse in terms of the strength, in terms of creating additional yardage after contact, but too often he fails to make that one defender miss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, it gets blocked up well. He gets ahead of steam. Okay, yeah. At the point of contact, he creates another 2 to 3 yards. That's great. But I need you to make somebody miss and turn what was 2 or 3 yards into 10.
Yeah. He ain't no Saquon.
No. Well, very few people are. But look at look at Kamara, for example.
Ain't no Kamara.
No.
He ain't no Dalvin.
No.
How about
He ain't no juice.
McCaffrey?
Would you take a Travis Etienne or would you take a Zeke?
Gotta go Zeke on that one, right?
I
Wow.
don't know, bro.
I know Etienne is your guy.
They're kind of similar, but I feel like Etienne can run through people more than Zeke.
Etienne got more juice.
Yeah.
And I think he's better at making guys miss. I think Etienne this year has gotten to the point where I got to score every time I touch the ball. He's trying to do too much this year. Yeah. That's my opinion on him. But if you look at some of Etienne's early tape, some of the moves he's made, when it looked like he was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, that to me is what separates the really good backs from the best backs. You know what I'm saying? Particularly when you don't necessarily have a dominant offensive line.
Concur. I would concur until
There it is right there. Packers covered.
Wow. Y'all called it. But let us know. CouchPotatoGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager's YouTube channel. Let us know. Hit that subscribe, like button. And hit us down in the comment section, man. And don't forget, man, we got plenty of content all over the place. Can't believe they covered, man. They covered. What's covered?
All right, bro.
All right, man.
All right, run, bro. Yeah, man.
Holla back.